Welcome, friends, to another Pop Recap. I'm Alex.
I'm Sean.
Tonight we're talking about Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3, The Long Night. And indeed, the night was long and full of terrors.
The episode was long.
The episode was
battles.
long. Full of battles. Yes, there you go. So there's that.
Yeah.
Okay, first thoughts.
It was a long episode. It was really long, and it felt long too. Sometimes not in a good way. I got a little battle fatigue at some points, which I'm sure some people are like, "Yay, battles!" But for me, it's like, how many times can you see them kill a zombie? Pretty much. So it's like at a certain point, you're just like, come on.
Let's go.
But a lot of thoughts about obviously the end, which we'll get to, and where does that lead the series, which we'll get to. But overall, I think history.
If you had to pick one word to describe the episode.
Interesting. Just interesting how everything played out.
Okay. Mine was complete shock. That's two words. But shock is one of them. There have been so many fan theories floating around for years. I'm talking actual human, real life years that these fan theories have been floating around for. And I didn't really see any of them. Oh, it's a nice mug, yeah.
King of the North.
I didn't see any of them come to fruition in the way that we thought they were going to, which is shocking. That's why my word is shock.
I mean, I don't want to use the word shock because I just want to see what they're so it'd be shocking if this is the way the show ended.
True.
Then it would be a shock because we still got 3 episodes left. That's why I use the word interesting, because I'm curious now where they're gonna go, considering what happened in this episode. And what I was gonna say before is, a lot of people are gonna look back and be like, "Oh, this is the best episode ever." I don't think so.
We don't know yet. There's 3 more episodes.
I mean, of the 70 we have so far, this is not the best. In my opinion, it's not.
I can't disagree with that, Sean. Yes, I feel like you are completely correct.
Yeah.
So let's just sort of go through what happened here, and we'll talk about our thoughts, and then we'll sort of wrap it up at the end. So, that opening was really intense. We really didn't get any dialogue for the first 20 minutes.
I thought you were talking about the opening.
Oh, not like no. It's the same opening. It's just we see the White Walkers.
The Whites got to it when it fell. But I had a theory about the opening too, with the blue panels. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if that also indicates where the Whites are, obviously, but also that ice fog or ice storm or whatever we got too. Was that what was coming as well, with the tiles turning over too?
I don't know.
It's just a thought. But
it seems less important now that we've actually seen the episode and we kind of know where we stand.
Yeah, but you're right about the actual opening with Sam especially. I'm thinking
it opens on Dragonglass.
Yeah, with him just nervous
this
hands.
This thing that they've built up for seasons and seasons and years of our lives. Let's not forget, guys. Oh, you're right, because he started watching it right before
season 7
came out. I've been in it since the beginning. Many of you have been with it when the books came out.
Yeah.
So,
it's been a long time.
The Dragonglass has been building up the importance of it, and that's how they opened the episode. So it was very appropriate.
But I also like the fact that they open on Sam and he's just nervous, because I think he represents us in a way, in the sense that we all know what's coming. He knows the characters know what's coming. We know what's coming. And it is nervous, you don't know what to expect. And the fact that we didn't get a lot of dialogue we got little bits of it, but for the most part, we're just really quiet. Because, again, it goes back to, if you watch the review for episode 2, a lot of their talking was done then. Now it's time for action. So that's why I'm glad we didn't get a lot of dialogue throughout this episode, because episode 1 and 2 set up this one.
Well, right, because what can you possibly say in this situation? Look out!
Yeah.
Don't die!
Yeah.
Help me!
Yeah.
Anyway.
All the battle plans have been made, how good they were, we'll get to.
On the front of Sam, though, I kind of want to play a drinking game where every time Sam looks completely helpless, take a shot.
Oh my! Well, if
you would be destroyed.
Especially in this episode.
Your liver would be absolutely done because I counted the second time I watched this episode. There were at least 5 different times where Sam was just like, "Oh
no!" Like I worry about him going forward.
Like y'all gonna be drunk.
Like he's gonna have some serious PTSD. He's a new Reek now because he's just gonna have like PTSD.
But he was so confident though. He's like, you know what? Talking to Ed in the episode before. He's like, hey, how dare you? I killed a White Walker and I killed a Thin and hey, I should be up there.
Yeah.
But guess what? That guy was scared of shit.
Well, I mean, and I don't blame him. Like, it's one thing.
I just think it's funny.
No one's ever been in a battle like this before. So it's one thing when you're, Battle of the Bastards, a Battle of Blackwater, like they've been reminding us about those battles recently. Fighting the dead is just something that is completely different, but yet their thought process wasn't different, and that's the thing that frustrated me watching this, is that they fought them like they would fight anybody else, which was crazy. Why would you do that? But we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Let's walk it through, guys. Yeah. Let's walk it through.
So I mean, we saw Ghost, which was nice on the battlefield.
It was okay, I guess, because he didn't
really do anything. And then we saw a character come back.
Okay.
Melisandre came back.
Where was this bitch hiding? Where was she hiding? She just kind of comes out of nowhere and just sort of like, honestly, I thought it was Uncle Benjen at first. Because Benjen has been the character who is half White Walker, or half white, half human.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting to me. And I'm really surprised that they did not use his character in this episode. Is he just done now?
Well, we don't know if he's probably done now, but we didn't know if he survived last season when he saved Jon, so...
You mean Bran?
No, when he saved Jon.
Wait, what the hell?
Remember they left Jon and he came and rescued him?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking of previous seasons when they saved Bran as well.
Yeah.
So, Benjen is, an important part of the story in a way. He just kind of shows up when you need him, and then he goes away.
Yeah,
I thought when Melisandre was coming up on the horse, I thought it was Benjen. Because it made more sense to me for that person to be coming from the enemy lines.
Yeah.
And she just kind of came out of the darkness, which was very strange.
It was very strange, which was hard to see her, it's hard to see. Well, a lot of people had problems with that, but she comes back, she lights up the Dothraki swords, which I liked it visually, it looked really cool, but then you could also see the characters have, a little bit of, extra hope in their eyes, oh man, things are looking up for us.
I think that was the purpose of that moment.
Yeah.
And also dramatic. It was supposed to be dramatic.
Yeah.
To see all the lights sort of fade out.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, a little annoying. Which is okay, so you did this one thing just to make us...
Well, mostly just for the characters to give them a little bit of hope, because,
I mean, they didn't last long at all.
No.
Nothing happened. They're just yeah, let's go!
Well, we'll get to that in a second, but I like the fact that when she did do that, she came into the castle and we saw Davos remember what I told you? If you ever came back here, I'll kill your ass. And she was like, don't even bother. I'll be dead before the dawn.
Yeah, he's gonna get over it, though, really.
I mean, he killed Shireen, man. She killed Shireen. Come on.
But also, let's talk about that, little girl who had the scarred face, who was supposed to maybe mean something or do something, and nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened.
I just gotta say one thing about this episode before we, go into specifics. All the things that we thought, and that we hoped, and that we dreamed, nothing. This gave us none of that. And it was both simultaneously surprising and disappointing. And... just gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, let's even start so once that happens, the Dothraki charge forward,
right?
Which made zero sense. Why would see? Because they're
terrible battle plan.
They're thinking oh, we have the Dothraki. No one would beat them in the open field. If you're fighting regular people, these are dead people.
But don't you think that was a sacrifice? Because the way that I watched the episode after watching it a couple times, it seemed to me that they always knew that there was no way that they were going to return.
Well, I mean, for me, I have a hot take about...
Hot take! Hashtag hot take.
Which we'll get to about exactly what this episode really means.
Ooh.
I'll say that toward the end, but think about it. Like, why would you charge them? You let the battle come to you. You have the advantage. You have the castle.
However,
you have all this army. You let them come to you. You build out a trench, which they did, which is too close, by the way. What they should have had the trench further out.
Fair.
You light it on fire. You let them come to you, and then you send the Dothraki around them, so you have them trapped. The Dothraki here, the dead here, there's fire here. You have the Unsullied behind the fire. So when they did do what they did, when they tried to cross over, you have the Unsullied there to fight them, and then you still have the castle there. Instead of the thing that they did was just, let the Dothraki charge them, and then they got completely wiped out.
I would like to see a diagram.
I will make one, but it's like their battle plan made no sense. Why wouldn't they pincer them? Why wouldn't they we saw how the Battle of the Bastards was won. Why wouldn't they use that same strategy here?
Because they're dead. They're dead. That's why.
I know.
Because they don't actually think like humans. So, of course, you can't use the same strategy that you used on human.
But we do find out later on they're not as dumb. Too. They're not as dumb as we think because they actually thought things out.
No, they didn't.
Well, we'll get there.
The Night King was actually sort of orchestrating the whole thing.
Yeah,
he's the one who controls what they do and where they go. Fair enough, though. But the point is, this is not a normal opponent.
No,
it's not. But so you can't use the same tactics that you used on the Boltons, for example.
But they did. They just charged right in to them. Why? They're gonna come to you.
We saw that happen when they came to us, and it was literally an avalanche of dead people.
Yeah,
you have to go.
But they weren't prepared for that.
They're not prepared for anything. You can't be.
I know.
This is like a massive army coming at you. You can't be prepared either way. But you saw that they're just folding over one. It's like a tidal wave.
But John saw that at where was
Hardhome.
At Hardhome, how they fight, how they just. They don't care.
But there's so much more of them now.
I know.
That I understand why they actually wanted to make the first strike, because when you see them coming at you, it's literally a tidal wave.
Yeah, but
that is mortifying.
But then you get having to stand your ground and stuff like this. That's not gonna that stuff's not gonna work.
The thing is, nothing would work. No matter what you do, nothing's going to work, because this is an army that does not fear death. It has no motivation outside of the fact that it does literally whatever the Night King tells them to do. This is an army that you cannot plan for, and they did the best that they could because they set up the fire ring. Granted, yes, you're right, they should have probably pushed that back a little bit and made several different ones, but they didn't have a lot of time also.
True.
I feel like they really did the best that they could based on what they had.
But they could have just used the castle as more of an advantage than they did. That's just my point, because you knew once they got to the castle they're gonna storm the walls. It almost surprised them. Oh my God, man the wall! No shit. Of course, once they get past your little trench, it seems like once they lit the fire, they were just standing that's gonna stop them, and they were surprised that they figured out a way to get past it. They're like, oh, man the wall now, they got past our little trench thing.
I think it comes down to not having enough time. I honestly think that's what it was, is because they were thinking about it the best that they knew how. Bran's not going to help them because Bran can't say anything, because if he says anything, it'll change the outcome. And Bran knew what the outcome was. I think you're right. Bran knew all along what is going to happen here, so he couldn't say anything.
Well, I didn't expect obviously, because Bran's Bran, he's not going to say anything. I'm just saying, but just the way their thought process was of handling everything just seemed really flawed, and just almost kind of the seat of their pants almost, but whatever.
I feel like it had to be that way because they were coming so fast. It had to be seat of their pants. It had to be.
I guess.
I don't think there was any other way that they could have done that. They didn't have months and months and months.
No.
They had days.
But would it even be that different if they had more time? I don't know.
I think it would have.
Who knows?
I think it would have. We don't know.
Anyways.
Crazy battle.
Very, very crazy. Like, obviously, as soon as the Dothraki are taken out, Dany gets on her dragon.
Well, can I just say just one more thing about that? Melisandre lights their swords, and it's, like, really dramatic, and I was like, whoa, that's cool, that's awesome. I was really excited, because we haven't seen the Lord of Light work in a way that quite obviously benefits the side that we want to win.
Yeah.
The Lord of Light has sort of done his own frickin' thing since day one. We got, like, shadow babies who are killing kings. We got leeches. It's random, you know? I feel like the Lord of Light is a very interesting, quote-unquote, character. And we finally get this amazing show of flaming swords all at once. But the only thing that I feel I was really disappointed in is that was only a show for the audience.
Yeah.
To be able to see how they're failing in the field. Because the lights slowly dim out.
Yeah,
so what was the point of that?
No, but I also think it was for the characters, because if you watch them see it happen, you can see a glimmer of hope in their eyes, too. So I think it was trust me, it was definitely for our benefit as well, but I think it was also to give them a little bit of hope, because once they're standing out there before that happens, a lot of them think like, yeah, we're done. But once they see that happen, and they see the Dothraki run out there, I think they do have a little bit more hope, and then that is quickly dashed. Once they see all the lights go and they see Jorah coming back like, oh shit, what the hell just happened?
It actually
ran into a giant.
Visually, it's a really nice moment for us.
Absolutely.
Because it's completely quiet, with the exception of, like, distant screams of the Dothraki screamers, right?
Yeah.
Like, going out there, doing their thing, and we feel really confident that they're going to make a difference, but they don't, because they very slowly just get petered out. And it's really a nice moment when Jon and Daenerys are watching from a cliff in somewhere nearby with their dragons. That's not the plan at all, but Daenerys is like, my people, the Dothraki who have followed me into battle, are all dying out now.
Yeah,
and she felt very strongly that she had to do something, which I thought was a really nice moment, because Jon wanted to stick to the plan, and she wanted to kind of just go out there and like, no, I can't let them get away with this. I have to do something, and she did. And I feel that that's sort of how the snowball occurred for the rest of the episode, where it's like the plan is kind of fucked.
Yeah,
you know. So I just think that's a really interesting choice for them to, like, give us all this hope at the beginning with the flaming swords, and Melisandre's here and she's gonna help us, guide us through the long night, and they're petered out really quick.
Yeah, which is considering how they've talked about the Dothraki throughout the series, to see them all get taken out like in one fell swoop is hard for your brain to comprehend. Even if it is the dead, it's just still like they're there and then they're gone.
Yeah,
and that's it. So it's hard to see it, and then once that happens, we see Arya tell Sansa, like, you need to head to the crypts. It's getting too hot out here, literally. You need to go. She's like, I don't want to go, but you gotta go. Even though
I love the callback to sticking with the pointy end.
Yeah.
Which is what Jon says to Arya when he gives her needle at the very beginning of the series. So
yeah, I mean,
I knew she was gonna say that too. I was like, she's like, I don't know how to use it. Like, yeah, I know what you're gonna say, girl. Go get it. I love it so much.
Yeah, that part was great, and then the idea of just like them just getting bum rushed, with just like stand your ground, and then just like this wave of dead is just coming at them, and to me that's why I was like, that them standing out there made no sense. It's like you're very vulnerable out there. That made like literally no sense for them all to be out there like that, or the majority of them to be out there. And they had to retreat. They couldn't stand out there. They would just been slaughtered like the Dothraki were. So they start to retreat, and then they're like, well, give the signal to light the trench. Davos does that, but Dany can't see it because of the ice storm.
That's pretty far into the episode too.
Yeah.
Like, it's like maybe halfway in where it's like, do something!
Yeah.
And she can't do something.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting that this episode was very long. Guys,
It
they added 20 minutes to the episode, and it's the longest episode of the entire season so far.
No, the series.
Oh, well, yeah, the series as well, yeah. By like a couple minutes.
By 2 minutes. It's gonna be longer than the series finale, which is weird. But considering all the battle stuff, I mean, you cannot understand
No, because, I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I don't feel like they needed to spend that much time.
No,
anyway.
not me, but anyway, like, so they try to light the trench, they can't do it, and then Alexandra comes out, and again, she shows us some more power, and she lights the trench, and that shot of her lighting the trench was pretty cool, just like to see the wall of fire, which we kind of predicted that they would have around Winterfell, which was nice. But it seems like once they did that, they just kind of like, we're like, all right, let's wait around and see what happens.
Well, the thing that they failed to realize is the dead don't feel anything.
Yeah, they don't care.
They're
don't willing to sacrifice.
Care. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what the Night King was doing when he's like, do your thing. And they all did. Well, they all did their thing.
But that's why, like, but Jon would know that. He saw what happened before, where they were just throwing themselves off the cliff just to get at them. It's like just building a wall of fire is not going to stop them. They'll figure out a way to get around it, and they did. They're like, oh, we'll sacrifice some to get the rest across, and like that. Like, why would Jon should know that, and should have told them that. Like, they don't. Well, he kind of did, but it's like they didn't listen to him. They don't stop. They don't tire. They don't care. They'll do whatever it needs.
Our opponent never tires.
Yeah.
Oh, so dramatic.
I'm Jon Snow. I know nothing.
And he also does nothing, apparently.
Well, I mean, he tries. He really tried.
Two different things.
So we see a lot of fighting.
Yeah,
obviously.
Let's talk more about characters though, because we get it. Like, this is a big battle episode. Yeah. We see a lot of fighting. We see a lot of dead people. We see Let's talk about the characters that we really care about. Let's talk about. Yeah, like
Sam.
Yes.
Well, first we see Sam out there.
Sam, take a shot. Take a shot, Sam, because this guy is worthless. And
he's not a fighter. He's not a fighter.
But we've seen him in situations before where he's been pretty brave, and he is honestly freaking worthless.
This is a completely different scenario.
I don't care. He should have been in the crypts with the women.
Well, he honestly should have been.
He really should have been.
He might have saved one or two of them, maybe.
Because, like, why did they cut away to him so many times? I don't care.
Well, because even the bravest of men break down during war. Like, that stuff happens.
But he's not brave.
But I'm just saying, even the bravest of men, that can happen too. But obviously, because Sam's not a fighter, it did happen to him several times where he's about to die, Ned saves him, and then Ned is the first person to get killed, unfortunately. But yeah, Sam ran. He shouldn't have been out there. He's not a fighter. That's just clear to see.
And Ed died because of him.
Yeah.
He's like, get up, Sam. And then there's like this beat where he's just like looking at him. It's like, maybe check behind you. I don't know.
Or like say, hey, someone's coming up behind you.
And then. But that's fine. I don't really care that much.
I mean, we kind of.
That guy was kind of a jerk.
No, well, we kind of predicted it that once they had that moment on the top of the castle where it was like, yeah, you're not probably gonna make it out. When he said, yeah, just burn the last one, burn the others. It's like, yeah, you're the first one. So it was sad to see him go.
It wasn't that sad.
Well,
I gotta be honest, guys.
It
wasn't
all right,
that sad.
I took some notes here. So as the battle is going on, they cut back to the crypts, and Tyrion's down there drinking wine. Once Sansa shows up, he's curious about maybe he should be out there. Maybe he might see something that the rest don't see.
He thinks he can make a difference.
I mean, because he has a point. He won the Battle of the Blackwater. If it wasn't for him, the rest of the show would be completely different. Because Cersei would be dead already, and a whole lot of other things would be different.
But once again, this is not an enemy that any of them have seen before.
True.
These are not humans anymore. This is the army of the dead. Like, no, Tyrion, you can't use your smarts to, maneuver your way out of this. You can't. And Sansa does a really good job of saying that. She's like, the best thing we can do now is look the truth in the face.
Yeah.
Which is, we're all in the crypts because we can't do anything.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a purely physical fight. It's not like your mind that can help you. You know, at this point.
Well, I mean, and then she's like, yeah, your wits can't help you at this point. So, and that's kind of why I felt Sam should have been down there. It made more sense. Have him on the field would have been is crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, as much as they told him not to, he probably just like fuck you and just did it anyway. Yeah. And they, they're like, oh well, we can't stop you. You want to die out here, so be it. So, so again, we see more and more fighting. Some dragon on dragon action, which was nice to see.
Can I just say though, like that shot when the dragons are like above the clouds with the moon
was very cool.
That needs to be my desktop background on my computer. That is like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was very nice.
Oh, and it's so quiet and gentle, and they're just up there, and they're like, "We're here, and we're dragons."
And they're just kind of like floating up there.
I love it.
It was nice.
Yeah.
Curious how the hell John and Danny didn't fall off.
Okay, question. Okay, also statement. Question and statement. I thought our dragons were going to get armor for this episode. I really thought that, based on what we saw in King's Landing with the
scorpion.
the scorpion. Yep, I really thought that they would have thought ahead a little bit. And maybe that's still to come.
I mean, maybe. I mean,
there's still 3 more episodes.
It would make more sense with the battle to come versus this one. They would.
Right.
I mean, because even if the Night King, when he plays long dart,
that guy is great at javelin.
Well, not this time around.
I don't know where.
Well, not this time around.
Not in aim, but like, did you see how far he threw that thing?
That's true.
Like I can throw a pebble and it'll skip a couple times on the water, but dang, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That guy is strong.
But like how they didn't fall off was interesting. But yet he fell off. But whatever.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, if they do armor, then maybe they could build a proper saddle. Maybe like if you're going to be riding dragons, like may as well do it right. You know what I mean?
True. We also saw Arya kicking ass with her weapon.
Oh yes.
Which was nice, and just being like Arya kicking ass, and like Davos like, damn girl,
yeah,
where'd you learn how to fight?
I love that rack focus where she's just like, and Davos is like,
what?
How did this happen?
Like, how did you?
Are you okay?
Like, how were you able to do that?
Where have you been?
Like,
what did you learn? This is crazy.
Like,
and it was.
He's like, never seen that before. But just the look on his face, like, wow.
She's just really good at what she does.
Yeah, but and I think if under normal circumstances she would have a problem, but of course it's a numbers game, and they're dead. So it's like after a while it's just too much. It's too much for all of them. So eventually she gets knocked on the head. She probably has a concussion. If they knew what that was back then.
She gets hit really hard in the head.
Yeah.
And that's her downfall in terms of like, I'm running now. Like
yeah.
I'm not gonna face this foe head on. I'm gonna like try to run and maybe find a place to recover.
Yeah.
Because like I think that hit in the head got really fucked her up.
Well, I mean that would fuck anybody. Like she probably had a concussion.
Absolutely.
So like it was bleeding really bad, obviously. So that kind of slowed her. That will slow anybody down, to be honest.
Absolutely.
But you can't be as much of a ninja when you have a concussion.
And I gotta say, how amazing was that moment when the Hound is like, he's like, there's fire everywhere. We're all gonna die. Like, it's the dead. Why are you even trying?
Yeah.
And the Hound has that moment, and then after Arya gets her head hit, and she's like falling off the roof there.
Mm-hmm. And he sees that.
And Beric is like, you know what? Oh, what? We can't fight the dead? Tell that to her.
Yeah, like she's still.
And he sees her, and he just immediately
snaps right out of it.
Yep, and he's like, I gotta go save her.
Mm-hmm.
I love that moment so much. That probably is my favorite moment in the entire episode, where the Hound, you see that moment of humanity in him again,
mm-hmm.
and we know that he's been protecting Arya, but he will never admit it.
Well, he admitted it to her, but it's hard to admit to anybody else.
But this moment was just so like obvious,
mm-hmm.
like I am going to save her. I have to protect her. Like I care about this person, and I have to go. And I love that moment so much. It's so important.
It is very important because considering again where their journey has been,
Yes.
It was a great moment for him to just kind of just like snap right out of his PTSD and then just
it was so instantaneous.
Yeah,
too.
like I gotta go help her.
Oh,
like
so great.
Like fuck fire, fuck everything else. I'm just gonna go and help her. So that was really, really great. And then just to see her kind of being ninja in the library type, like avoiding them. Like that scene.
By the way, which reminded me completely of the Jurassic Park scene in the kitchen.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
With Tim and Lex.
It ran a little bit too long, but it was still like kind of nice to see her just like dodging them, and then she killed that one.
It was, you know what it was good for? It was great for the pacing because everything was like.
Yeah, it was nice to get away from that for a while.
This was a little like stealthy, and it's like, take a breath, gotta hide from them.
Yeah,
and they're stalking you. Yeah, that was a really nice scene that I feel like we really needed in the middle of that episode in order to help the pacing. So I honestly feel like the editor, and or the director or whoever. I mean, it's a big process with everybody involved, but that was a really nice scene where I felt like I could finally breathe a little bit,
like take a little bit of escape.
Not really.
Take a little bit of escape. But also like when they come back to the crypt and you can see them in there, hearing what's going on. It reminded me of when Cersei and them were waiting.
Yes.
With the Battle of the Blackwater, just sitting in there.
Yes.
And then she's like, we're all gonna die.
Okay, so the only disappointing thing on that front is, remember how she was telling Sansa, like, oh, hey, here's how you be a queen. Here's how you teach your people to be calm in this situation. I wish that had come back a little bit.
Sansa was doing that?
Yes, I wish that Sansa had sort of taken the lead. Be like, hey, everyone, I know we're all down here and it's very scary, but let's sing a hymn. Which is exactly what she did during the Battle of the Blackwater, where Sansa was like, let's sing a song.
Yeah, but that's like, but Sansa's like beyond, maybe not sing a hymn, but just like, not just accept it kind of way she was down there. Just like it is what it is. I would like to see of her to do something, but singing a hymn would have been kind of a little bit out of character for her now.
No, that's not what I mean.
No, I know what you mean, but not saying do something.
Do something. So in the like season 2 or whatever with the Battle of the Blackwater, it was like, oh, let's sing a hymn, and that's how they were able to avoid dealing with the pain and the fear that they had. I wish that Sansa had taken the lead in that sense and be like,
or something.
No, maybe, I don't know. But just said something, like inspirational. Like, I know we're all down here. I know that we feel like we can't do anything, but honestly, we can. We can be strong for everybody. And that would have been a really nice way to tie that moment together.
Absolutely.
Because those are the 2 moments that she's been in where it's like a battle and they're hiding. So I feel like it's really weird that they didn't do that. They didn't use Cersei's
teachings.
Yes.
Because that was a teaching moment for Sansa. That for sure.
And Sansa's character is very, like, willing to say, like, Cersei taught me a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think that's absolutely true. But anyway, we didn't get it, so...
That's fine. We also saw Theon, him and the Greyjoys kind of surrounding Bran at the tree.
We do have to talk about that.
And then, him telling him, like, he was pretty much apologizing for everything that happened. And Bran told him, like, everything that you did brought you here. So if you didn't do what you did, you wouldn't be here right now to do what you're gonna do. So don't feel bad about everything that happened in the past. You're gonna make it up very, very soon.
Yes.
So even though what you did doesn't really matter, but that's besides the point. And then Bran starts to warg into the crows. Not the crows. The ravens. Sorry.
Oh, same thing, kind
of. I guess.
But
apparently he's doing that for the rest of the time, I guess.
Well, the reason he's doing that is because that's the way that the Night King knows that where he is. Which, in my mind, is kind of like... Okay. Convenient, whatever. Like, none of this is explained. None of the interaction between Bran and the Night King, and even just the Night King in general, is really, truly explained. Like, they give us an origin story, which makes you think that you're going to get a lot more.
Yeah.
But we don't.
No.
Because it's a very strange thing to get an origin story and then not get literally anything else. Except for what Bran tells you is like, oh, he wants to erase this world and kill me because I am this world.
And he knows where I am.
That's the part that I feel like you're supposed to take that kind of magic for granted. It's like, oh, okay, sure, that's fine. But it's not fine. Like, I feel like I wanted a little bit more with that.
I definitely wanted more.
Or a lot more,
to learn
maybe.
more about the Night King. And, like, obviously, like, Bran kind of explains, like, oh, he just wants, the long night, and he wants all the humans. Like, yeah, but why? Like, what did the humans do to him? We've been told it before, but actually, want to see what happened for him to get to that point where he's like, you know what, F this, I'm just going to build an army and I'm just going to get rid of all of you, like everyone. Like, why would he get to that point?
It was the children of the forest who were like, you can't let humans survive anymore.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Anyway, yeah, I mean, you're right that there's like a little balance there in terms of figuring out and understanding the motivation there, because if you've been watching the channel, I hate evil people who are evil just for evil's sake.
Oh, me too.
I hate it. There has to be some kind of motivation there. It's boring.
Yeah.
And I get it, like, the dead are evil, and the evil is the dead, and like, okay, fine, but I wanted them to surprise me a little bit with that.
Yeah, I mean,
and there was...
There's a saying, the best villains are the ones who thinks they're the hero, and the hero is the villain. Like, those are the best villains, the villains that actually have motivation, like, I'm going to do this because I think what I'm about to do is the right thing, whether you think it's right or not. That's the best villain. Like we're in an area where Thanos is out there, no spoilers for Avengers, but he thinks what he's doing is right. That's what makes him a compelling villain. It's not just like, I'm going to do these things because I just want to do them. Like, no, there's a reason why he's doing what he's doing.
I agree.
I want the reason why the Night King was doing what he's doing, because then when he starts to do them, we understand why, and you might actually get to feel a little bit something or start to relate or understand why the Night King is doing what he's doing. But right now, you just know, like, oh, he just wants all the humans dead. And that's it. And that's all we really get. So, I mean...
We'll get there.
Well, we don't know. We don't know yet. So
I feel like I want to talk a little bit about the consequences of this episode and where it's going at the end of our review.
Yeah, me too.
So let's just kind of like run through a couple more things
the Hound and they save Arya,
which is amazing, and I love it so much.
Yeah.
And the Hound actually has an important role to play, even though he was scared as shit.
Yeah.
Obviously, Beric Dondarrion has a role to play.
Yeah, and
he dies for Arya.
Yeah, and he got stabbed a lot. It was like stabby. And then they get into that room, and then unfortunately he dies, and then Melisandre just happens to be there too.
Well, because she can't really fight.
Well,
she
yeah, but
can, maybe light things on fire.
I know, but she just happened to be in the room that they're in.
It's because she knows.
Whatever. I mean, yeah.
She also has I feel like she has a little bit of foresight the same way Bran does.
Yeah, so maybe the Lord lights it.
Exactly.
In that room, she'll come to you, and then she reminds Arya what she told her the last time they met.
The eyes that she would close.
Yeah, she would close brown eyes, green eyes, and blue eyes. And then she's like, oh. And then that's where we're like, oh, that's our little tell of what's going to happen later. And then, what do we tell the Lord of Death? Not today.
Well, which is interesting because
she runs
obviously Melisandre is not Syrio Forel.
No.
Her dancing master.
No.
But, so, Melisandre can just kind of see the future.
Or she saw the past. Or maybe the Lord of Light told her, like, tell her that.
Tell her that.
Yeah, like, she'll know what that means.
Which is a little interesting because there's like a little hope with like a small amount of fans that are like, Syrio Forel is still alive.
No
and
way.
He escaped and because he's a faceless man. And so, like, they're assassins. Like, he's basically Arya, but, 30 years older. So he has different skills than she has, and so maybe he's sort of escaped in a different way. I like that idea a lot because it makes a lot of sense. Because Arya is now an assassin, and she's been able to escape a lot of situations, and she's not even 40. You know, she's 18 at this point.
Yeah.
So she's been able to do a lot of things that Serial Pharrell's been unable to do, but it is a nice callback regardless of whether or not, you know, the connection there. It's nice.
Yeah, it is. One more thing to talk about before we keep moving on is Lady Mormont. So once they start attacking Winterfell, the dead giant comes in, and she gets smacked to the side. So I thought, like, at that point, she's like, oh my god, is she dead? Because, like, she's a little girl getting pimp smacked like that. It's not going to do well for her. But then the giant picks her up and almost squeezes the life out of her. But then she uses the dragon last to stab in the eye.
So,
which was a nice moment for her to go out that way.
Well, first of all, she wasn't supposed to be in any more than one episode.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
She was supposed to be in the one episode where they go to the Mormonts and they want
their
allegiance, and, you know, it's like, can we have your men? And she's like, yeah, we have 50 people we can give you. But people loved her so much that it's just like, we have to bring this person back. And it actually makes a lot of sense because she is just a young woman, I don't know, 13 maybe?
Something
14?
Like that.
And, you know, she's all of a sudden in charge of all these people. And it's actually really, really great.
Well, yeah, I mean, considering
that they kept bringing her back.
Yeah, and plus her performance kind of dictated that they had to. Like, once we saw her the first time, just like, look at this little powerful girl, like...
And
it's
I
like,
love it.
Yeah, just like taking charge, and especially when she was in the Great Hall, like saying like, "You're the king of the North, and you didn't answer the call, and you didn't answer the call," and like just like, I love that the fact that that they kept bringing her back, but then they gave her a meaningful death. It wasn't just like she just one of the fodder that got killed.
Like literally, the smallest person killed the biggest person.
Yeah, which was not a coincidence.
Outside of the dragon.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally a giant.
Yeah.
That she's killing. But, like, what I find really interesting as well is the actress was asked, hey, what are you going to miss most about, you know, being Lyanna Mormont, and what are you going to miss most, you know, once your character gets killed off? And her response was, I'm going to miss telling grown men that they need to sit down. I know I'm misquoting that like a little bit, but that's so basically funny. The gist of it. And she's like, oh, I really enjoyed being in this place of power where I could tell a grown man that they're like making the wrong freaking choice, you know? And
I mean, that's a good point, though.
That.
But that is a good point, because otherwise the rest of her day, people are telling her what to do and, like, sit down and be quiet, probably.
But as a character, too, that's what she did. Like, she's just very honest, you know? And we like her
and
for
very straightforward, and
she's thrown in this position where she has to lead.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, any other girl would have been in the crypts, and
there she was. And, yeah, and that was a really, you know, she wasn't actually supposed to be in any... more scenes outside of that first one, and people loved her so much, and she was, and they gave her a really great death. I think.
I didn't like watching episode 2. I was just like, I'm not sure if she's gonna make it or not, but I'm glad that if she didn't, she had a meaningful death. So it's not like some little White Walker took her out or whatever. Or she fell or something like that, or
she killed a massive giant.
She killed a massive giant that would have done some major damage if not taken out. Obviously, it broke through the gate, so I mean, they would have kept just clubbing everything if she didn't take it out.
You know, sadly though, just because of the way the episode ends, like this is the end of House Mormont, completely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of houses don't exist anymore after this battle, but yeah, that's the one that we know of for sure. It just doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, as we keep going forward, like what was one of the things we haven't talked about?
Check the notes.
So pretty much after more dragon fighting, like obviously when the Night King falls, Dany tries to see.
I love that shot, by the way. The Night King just like.
Yeah. So she tries to answer the question: will Dragonfire kill a White? So she tries. And it looks phenomenal, and then obviously he's standing there like, that didn't do anything, girl. And we're like, oh snap! What are they gonna do now?
We kind of knew that because in episode 2, when they're like at the war table and they're discussing, and Arya says, "What? Dragonfire won't kill them?" And Bran says, "I don't know. No one's ever tried." So at that moment, we kind of know that probably won't work. You know?
but just you're right. We probably think, but just to see it happen and it not work, you're like, whoa, that really didn't work. Like, what are they gonna do now?
So first of all, like, I don't understand the rules. It's sort of like, it feels like so arbitrary. Where it's like, oh, Dragonfire won't work. Dragon Glass does work. Valerian Steel does work. But dragons, nope.
No. Well, I mean, if you don't really explain the rules, but beyond that, you can do whatever you want.
If you don't explain the rules, yeah, sure, then you can do whatever you want.
So,
okay.
Dragon Glass will work. Dragonfire won't work. Like, it's just like, remember when John was explaining, this is how you kill the dead people. You can use Dragon Glass, check. You can use Valerian Steel. You can burn them. Dragonfire, no. On a white, though, no.
I don't know.
So
that's one of the small things.
Again, if you don't give us the Night King's backstory, you don't know what will work. So obviously that didn't work, and he's just like, all right.
Obviously,
he started doing his little strut down, like, I'm gonna go kill Bran now. And then Jon starts to come up to him, and then he does what we all feared he would do. He started to raise his hand, and even Jon knows, oh my God, I gotta stop him before he does it, because he knows, and we know, what happens if he continues to do this.
Well, yeah.
And then we saw everybody who died, get the little blue eyes again. We saw Lady Mormont come back.
But we don't see her. That's bullshit, though, because this is what I've been wanting from this episode.
Yeah.
Before this episode, I was like, I can't wait to see all of our beloved characters come back as the dead. And our living characters have to deal with fighting with the people that they used to love. Like, I'm talking about Hodor. I'm talking about, or even Ramsay. Like, because we talked about how Davos was talking about the Battle of Winterfell and all the dead people around there. Stannis, like, I really wanted all of these dead characters, because can you imagine the complete trauma that the living characters would have to deal with if you saw these people again?
Yeah, or even just the ones that died in this episode. Like, if Sam had to see Ned right in front of him, or like, or any of them had to fight Lady Mormont, like, just have them being brought back to not be just fodder again. Because as soon as he raised his hands and it kept walking, Jon started killing fodder again.
They had a massive.
That's boring.
Yes, they had a massive opportunity. To put this weight on the whole situation, and they didn't do it. We saw Lyanna, we saw Ed, we saw some of our dead characters, like, and they didn't do anything. We
saw Dothraki.
Yeah, and it's so disappointing.
Yeah,
that they didn't do anything with that.
No, and then we saw what we all feared after seeing episode 2 is that everybody's in the crypts, and then the dead in the crypts are coming to life. And they didn't do anything with that either.
Well, right.
Or no one meaningful. Didn't mean anything.
They're like, I don't recognize that guy.
Like, he's not. Fodder died.
He's not my grandpa.
But like
I would have loved it if Sansa was like, oh my God, it's my great grandpa.
Or that's
Nedard.
Or some
Stark.
But have something meaningful happen. Like, we all were worried about.
We all wanted that, and we didn't get it.
We were all worried about the crypts the entire time because they kept mentioning. Everything
safe in the crypt.
Safe in the crypt. Safe down there. Safe down there. Safe down there. Well, when the dead started coming back, nothing of importance happened down there. And again, I think that was also a wasted opportunity too. If you're gonna kill anybody, like, have something happen. Even if you're not gonna kill anybody, have something relevant happen. Like, some fodder got killed, but who cares about that?
What if I wanted something like Lyanna. We don't even know if her body's in the crypts or not, but, like, what if her, like, statue started trembling just a little bit, and it never came to fruition?
But just
like,
something.
Right at the end there. Yeah, just something that would make us be like, I wanted that feeling, and I never felt that feeling in this episode. That feeling of, like, pain.
Well, I mean, they kind of hinted at it with the sense when we saw Sansa and Tyrion, like, hiding, and then they have that moment where they look at each other like, we're done for. Like, you're a little bit worried for them, but it was a moment that lasted for a little bit because at the end of the day they were fine, but nothing really happened down there, and I was shocked that nothing happened down there. That everybody that was down there that we know survived. Even that little girl, which we were worried about,
No,
she was there.
That wasn't even her, though.
No. She's alive. I'm just saying, even we were worried about her.
You're talking about the one with the scar?
Yeah.
That wasn't even her.
No. Yeah, I know. She's okay.
We don't know that.
No, we do. We saw her.
No, we don't. We didn't see her.
When Tyrion came back, and she was sitting right next to Varys.
That wasn't the same girl.
It was. Trust me.
They did not render her scars.
Well, that was her. So she ended up. So we were worried about her.
What was that also?
I don't know. Well, I mean, we still got 3 episodes, so I don't know. But just the idea that nothing relevant happened on there, which was weird, very, very weird. So Jon is trying to get to Bran, and he can't. He's killing more fodder, and as he's walking and killing by, we see all the rest of our heroes. Sam's crying and being overtaken. Jaime and Brienne, which we haven't even mentioned them, but
we're
pretty much stuck up against the wall, pretty much
for the entire hour and 20 minutes.
Almost, and we saw a lot of our heroes just like still fighting, and how they're still alive, God only knows. But Jon could even like stop to save them or do anything because he knows Bran is the important thing that he has to try to get to.
Okay, so this is really interesting. So if you watch it again, you'll notice that he sees Arya going to the target. So when he is fighting Viserion, yes. So when you see Viserion, our ice dragon, basically, and his ice fire and like really threatening Jon, you can see Jon and he looks at something, it registers, and he says, "Go. He's talking to Arya. Another thing that I've noticed is another of the White Walkers, his hair just kind of brushes past just a little bit. He's like, "What was that?"
Well, he does look weird. Before.
He's like, "What was that? That was weird." So we have these hints. If you watch it again, we have these hints that Arya is stealthily approaching the Night King.
Yeah, and then you're kind of supposed to...
Which is amazing.
Yeah, and you're kind of supposed to have forgotten about her.
Yep.
After she runs off.
And that's what the showrunners said. They're like, we're hoping that you forgot about her.
Yeah. I mean, but because they're showing you other things, and it's easy to forget about her, because you're thinking the way the show is...
I didn't expect it at all.
No, I know. But because the way the show is building up, you're thinking Jon's going to get there, because he's trying to get there.
It makes more sense.
Yeah, because he always has, and you think, he's going to get there.
King.
He's always going to get there again, and you think Jon is going to be the one to take out the Night King. And then when the Night King gets there, Theon, is that all his men are dead, it's just him. And Bran pretty much says, "You're a good man. And thank you." Because he knows what's about to happen. And think Theon even knows what he has to do. And we know what he has to do. Oh. And it's sad, it's been what we've been saying, if you've even been watching our recaps of ever since he took over Winterfell, we're like, he's on a redemption story. Mm-hmm. Trying to get past being weak, and trying to make up for all the bad things he's done. To see him go out the way he did was nice, yes, but in another way it didn't, if he stood there and got stabbed, it didn't matter. If he ran towards him, it didn't matter. He was still gonna die, but
he went out the right way.
He did go out the right way.
Charging
and fighting versus before saying reek and running. So it was nice to see him have a meaningful death, and that Bran forgave him, because he's the real person. Him and Rickon, which obviously Rickon's not around anymore, are the ones that he really wronged. Yeah, he should zigzag. So the fact that he can die with knowing that Bran has forgiven him and saying that you're a good man and you're at home.
Yeah.
Him hearing those things before he died was nice. For me, it's sad that he's not going to see his sister again. He's not going to be able to defeat his uncle, but whatever.
But he's never really been a warrior, so it makes sense. I feel really confident that Yara's going to take care of the rest of that, and I'm really glad that they made up before that.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I feel really positive about Theon's demise. I really do.
Yeah, I do. I
don't feel like I needed to see him do anything more.
No, I mean, but him, because he did what he said he was going to do.
Badass,
but he also did what he said he was going to do. He's like, I'm going to protect him.
Yeah.
And he did that.
And he did.
To the best of his ability. So once he gets taken out, the Night King just slowly...
he succeeded.
Yeah, I mean...
100% succeeded.
Well...
Like, kicked everybody else's ass.
Until, all the bad boys came up and were like, alright, you're done.
It's amazing.
And then the Night King slowly walks up to Bran, and it's like Bran is just looking at him. They're looking at each other almost like, I know what's about to happen, you know what's about to happen, but I know something you don't know, and we all know what that is. As soon as he goes for his sword, Arya jumps and he catches her.
By the way, where did she come from?
I don't know. She has powers, I guess. He catches her, and then we think like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And then she drops the knife, and she puts it right where he was made, and then, and then just like almost every other superhero movie, you kill the leader, and then everybody else just dies. So all the whites blow up, and all the dead just start dying again. And everybody's saved.
Well, let's talk about what this means.
Except for Jorah, who died.
That's what I was gonna say. Well, let's talk about what this means, but first let's talk about who we lost.
Yeah.
We talked about Theon just now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jorah.
Yeah.
Perfect death.
Yeah, I mean
he died protecting Daenerys, which is probably the death that he would have wanted if he had to pick.
Yeah. And he's protecting the woman that he loved.
Yeah.
Never loved.
I was thinking it was going to be a little more one-on-one, a little more private, a little more like, not in a battle scenario, but it is what it is, and I guess it's fine.
Well, I mean, he's a warrior. Him dying on the battlefield is and saving Daenerys. I mean, what else could he want?
He's just so good, though. That
and he got stabbed several times and still kept going for an old guy, which is, what more can you ask for?
He's old. He's like 37.
No. He's way older than that.
I don't know. Not that much older than me.
Well, it's his character anyway. It was befitting to see him go. Even Drogon, we were worried about him, like, getting the dead stabbing him, all like 1,000 little cuts type thing. So you were worried about him, but he's okay.
Oh, yeah, Drogon's like, I got all these ants on me.
Yeah, we have to
I gotta go.
Shake him off.
Yikes.
But he's okay, and then just to figure out that we didn't lose anybody else is hard to believe, considering.
No kidding.
How devastated Winterfell is.
Oh, no kidding.
How the dead came back in the crypts. How the Night King raised the dead. The fact that we lost Jorah, we lost Lady Mormont, we lost Ned, we lost Theon, and that's it. Everybody.
Ned? Wait, Ned?
Yeah, from
Ed.
Sorry.
I was like, Ned Stark died,
he died
in season 1.
So the fact that that's all we lost, and funny how I say that, considering how many characters that we have left,
it's crazy.
You would think that the battle would have taken up more, but whatever. But
okay, well, let's talk.
Should we talk about the tease of episode 4?
Honestly, the tease didn't show us much.
No.
I mean, let's just talk about what we're gonna see.
All right, but before we get there, I have a hot take, and I talked about it earlier. So basically, if this is all we get from the Night King, and obviously it looks that way, we don't know 100% for sure because we still got 3 more episodes. But as of right now, the Night King is gone, and the dead are gone. So the show has built them up as the big bad for the series. And now that they're gone, now it only looks like that the show built him up to weaken Dany. That's all the Night King was meant to do. Because now look at Dany now versus when she first got to Dragonstone. She had 3 dragons. She had the Dothraki. She had the Unsullied. If the Night King's not around, she could have just walked right up to King's Landing and took it like that. Now she's minus 1 dragon. She has no Dothraki. A lot of the Unsullied were killed. She's weakened now. And now it's not an even fight, but it's a more of a fight now than it would have been. And for me, that's the only reason the Night King is around.
And her boyfriend is the rightful heir to the Iron Throne.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's the thing too. But it's like you built the Night King up just to bring Dany down. Like, that's the only reason now he existed. If we never see him or the dead again, that's the only reason he was there. As a plot device to weaken her.
I hate this. I hate this because...
But that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. If we never see the Night King again, or the dead again, that's what he was. To weaken her. Because if she didn't have to go up north to fight this guy, she would have... It didn't matter who she... And remember, Jaime reminded us of this. When he said, it doesn't matter who you hire. She has 3 dragons. She has the Dolphin. She spelt it out for us. Reminding us she's way too powerful.
Yeah, I mean...
As she is right now, something has to happen to weaken her, and that's the Night King. So if we never see him again, that's his only purpose, was to weaken her. And that saddens me because of how much they built him up. And I'm thinking he had a lot more of a pivotal role to play in the Great War. And his mission pretty much was to weaken Dany and her army. I mean, he did that. But if that's all his character was really meant to do, it's kind of sad in a way. If, as we stand now, I mean, things may change. How? Who knows? They can do whatever they want. But with 3 episodes left, we don't know. But as of right now, it just feels like the Night King's a plot device.
We are in agreement on this. Because the entire series has been, oh, none of this matters.
Yeah.
No, the Iron Throne doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Davos even said, it's like, doesn't matter whose skeleton sits on the Iron
Throne
if we don't win this war.
Yeah.
But guess what? This war's over now!
Yeah.
So now we have 3 more episodes, and it's sort of like, okay, now what?
And in the preview, she's like, yeah, we won the Great War, now we're going to win the last war. It's like, considering that, if all the last war is Dany in the north fighting Cersei and her army, it's not as compelling as them fighting the Night King.
Boring.
It's
boring!
Or have a 3-way... I was looking forward to a 3-way battle of the Night King, Cersei, and Dany and Jon. That's more interesting.
It would have been so crazy if Cersei's army showed up in the middle of that battle.
Yeah. Or them having to retreat. Because what I thought was going to happen is once the Night King did this, they were like, yeah, we're out. Like, we can't handle this. And I thought they were going to retreat south and then, like, be cornered between Cersei and the Night King and then have that happen. But that didn't happen. So now, and plus I mentioned this to you earlier, we live in a world now, they live in a world now where it's the North knows what happened, but the rest of Westeros has no idea. And will always just think, oh, the Northerners, yeah, they're crazy. Just like Tyrion says, you can't, the nights are long up there. You can't believe what they're saying. So it's like, they're the only ones that know this happened. King's Landing has no idea and have no consequences up to what happened up north. They have suffered nothing.
I wanted to see the dead come to King's Landing.
Absolutely.
I wanted to see Cersei in the highest tower of King's Landing looking out at this blizzard coming towards them. And I wanted to see that fear in her face. I wanted to see her, like, reprimanded for all of her earthly pleasures, you know, like, oh, I fuck who I want. I do what I want. I wanted to see that come back to haunt her in that way, and we're not going to get that, and I'm so disappointed.
Well, I mean, and plus, I want to also remember the first episode, Winter's Coming. I want to see, everybody should have experienced winter coming, not just the North. The South should have realized it too.
Yes.
But, so
all of Westeros.
Yeah, everybody should have realized the threat of the Night King. And again, I'm just prefacing this by saying, as the first 70 episodes, they built him up basically as of right now to weaken Dany. That's all he really, his legacy now is that. You might disagree, but in reality, if you really think about it, that's what he did. So that's
you're right.
I'm very disappointed. Not only because my prediction is not going to come true, but even put that aside, I just think it would have been a lot more interesting to see the Night King in King's Landing. To see all those people, see the Night King, see dragons, see dead people. Because that look of when you first see it, those people in King's Landing are never going to see that. And that's a very powerful moment that we're not going to get to see as things stand right now. They won't see it, and we won't see it. So Cersei pretty much was right. She did the right thing. She's like, why weaken me myself? She did the exact right thing now. So you can't. What she did was justified. Like, I shouldn't have gone north. I did the right thing. You guys beat the Night King in one night. Couldn't have been that much of a threat. You did it in one night. So now let's let the real battle begin. Even though you're weakened now.
Well, okay. So we talked about this before, and I've mentioned this before, but oh my gosh, now we're in this place where we have 3 more episodes, and everything that's happened prior to this almost doesn't even matter. Which is a terrible place to be in for a series that has been on for so long.
Yeah.
And has caught the attention of so many people. So, it's over now. Everything that we've been sort of hoping for is kind of like, we have to start over again.
I mean, I think the next episode is going to be them literally just picking up the pieces and figure, all right, let's take out Cersei, and then how that... But just her by herself, for me, is not that compelling anymore, because there's nobody that we cared about on that side anymore. Jaime's not there anymore. It's just her, really, and the other Greyjoy, which I can't remember his name right now. Euron, yeah. So it's not as if we want her to lose. We want her to lose. But the fact that if it was her and the Night King,
here's the thing. I don't even want her to lose anymore because the fight against the dead was so easy. It's sort of like, where's the drama in this series anymore?
Yeah, there's no elephants in her army. I'm like,
Dumbo, where you at, Dumbo?
How more compelling is that war gonna be versus one we just saw? If the Night King now is not involved or a threat, so
it's an existential crisis. Fighting against the dead. And then suddenly we win. So why does anything else matter? Because the entire series we've been talking about, it doesn't matter whose skeleton sits on the Iron Throne as long as we win the Great War. Well, the Great War is won, I guess, now?
Danny said, now it's time to win the last one.
Okay, but I'm bored.
Sorry.
It's kind of boring.
I'm hoping something else needs to happen. It can't just be them fighting Cersei. If it is, then something really shocking is going to have to happen inside of that for me to get like, oh my god, yeah! I'm lost for words now because the Night King was just a compelling enough bad guy that I wanted to know more of. It's like he's twisting his mustache, but there's more. There's got to be more to you than that, and we may now never know. And then if all he is now is what he was, he's not that a compelling bad guy anymore because, like I said, he's just a plot device at the end of the day. And the way they built him up, he deserves more than that. The show deserves more than that, and we deserve more than that. But
yeah,
that's kind of where.
I feel like we're in complete agreement on this, and I think a lot of fans are as well.
I mean, some people are saying it's the best episode ever. I don't.
No.
I completely disagree.
Not even close.
There's tons of other episodes that are way better than this.
Not even close.
Because I have to tip my hat if I was wearing one just to how much effort was put into making this.
They shot this
over 55 nights in a row. That's.
No, you have to give clout to the director. Yeah. I would not want to direct this. This is insane.
Yeah.
They must have storyboarded it. I would love to see some storyboards.
Yeah, those things that
would be incredible.
Probably never see, but
I hope so. But yeah, a lot of work went into this, so I don't want to shortchange it at all because I've been there.
In the episode, trust me, it will go down as one of the most important episodes in Game of Thrones history. But to me, there's no way I can call it the best. Even if the series ended right now, it wouldn't be the best episode.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But let's rate it and then call it a night.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like there's too much to discuss, and I'm feeling emotional. Okay, out of how many whites? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the episode was interesting to watch for a lot of it. I mean, I did get battle fatigue for some of it, but it was, again, satisfying to see the Night King go out, but just the way he went out, I don't agree with. The way that we didn't lose... I mean, like, I'm not bloodthirsty, but just if you look at battles in general, for us to only lose who we lost was a little hard to believe, but what have you. They'll probably... Maybe some of them will die in the next battle. Fine. But for me, I would say I have to give this maybe a 7. And I guess I'm being kind, but 7 whites out of 10.
Okay. A 6 for me.
So we're not that far apart.
Nope. I also had, and I feel like this suffers from fans on Reddit and just like online, like tossing around their ideas and like all these little connections that most people might not have caught, and just thinking about how this could have ended, and most fans being completely disappointed with the way that the Night King went out.
Yeah.
They're
like happy he went out, but just like sad that he went out.
No, I'm sad. I'm not even happy. I'm sad.
No, I mean like
I wanted this threat to be continuing until the end episode. I wanted this threat to continue. Yeah. I don't understand why they killed off this existential threat before the normal threat.
I mean, I would have been okay if they killed Cersei in like episode 3, and then start to deal with the Night King.
Yeah,
like for me, that would have made more sense. Yeah, that would have made more sense. But I mean, obviously, we don't know what the next 3 episodes are going to hold. So I mean, we're just judging this on this episode and what's happened prior to it.
Oh my god. Ugh.
And we had a long conversation about it.
I just feel like, and also Arya being the prince who's promised, it's like, we have some more stuff to talk about, I feel like, in next episode, which I think we can't fully have a full understanding of what happened in this episode because it was all action.
Yeah.
And not a lot of, like, substance. So I feel like in the next episode we're going to have a lot to talk about in terms of what our fan theories mean, and
I mean,
what
I'll put it out right now. The next one's going to be a slow episode, so you can take a breath, and the characters can take a breath and soak in what just happened, so that they can move forward. So don't expect a lot of people to die. Expect a lot of talking.
Well, I hope the talking means something. I hope it means more than it did in the first 2 episodes.
Well, considering what happened in the third one, a lot of talking didn't mean anything because a lot of them survived. So
exactly, which is like, we only have a few more episodes, so make it count. That's what I'm really hoping for.
Well,
like, it's too late now. Like, we can't just be talking about stuff. Like,
well, I mean, but they're gonna have to.
But it has to mean something.
True.
Like,
I agree.
we have to, like, everyone in the world has to know that Jon is the rightful king. Like, there has to be drama. Like, we can't keep things secrets anymore. There can't be like...
That's why the next episode is going to be a talkie.
It has to be crazy, though. It can't just be like, oh, hey, remember that one time? Oh, bye.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, it has to be like, oh, shit.
Well, it's just going to be like...
I need that, because I didn't feel that in the last episode.
I hear you. Trust me, I hear you.
Yeah.
Some questions got rose, and a lot of questions still need to be answered. And again, I think some of that's going to happen because one of these episodes, at least the last 2 anyway, aren't going to be all battle episodes, but they're going to be battle heavy. Mm-hmm. To what degree we don't know. So I think the 4th episode is going to have to set a lot of that up, so that a lot of the last 2 don't have to do that much heavy lifting in terms of answering the questions. It might just have to answer what happens after that.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about those then. But for now, thank you if you've watched the whole thing. Our discussion on episode 3, The Long Night.
Yes.
What are you guys' thoughts? What are your thoughts about how the Night King went out? Do you like the fact that he was taken out this early? What are your thoughts about him in general? What are your thoughts about who died? Who survived? What does that mean going forward? What is this episode's legacy going to be? Do you think it's the best episode of the series? or not, like we don't think it is. What are you guys' thoughts? Let's start the conversation below. Also, like, subscribe, share, do all those great things. Make sure to hit that notification bell to be notified when we do the next reviews for the next episodes that come out. Obviously, we'll do one for the last episode. We'll also do a recap of the entire series. What does it mean? What the prequel series is going to mean going forward, etc. But those are for another time. But until then, I'm Sean.
And I'm Alex.
It's been a long talk after a long night.
I know, a long night indeed. We'll see you next time for episode 4.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.